about that is good luck, because Craig Gusson is one of the foremost experts on insurance here in California. Spends a lot of time in Sacramento trying to figure all this out on your behalf. And Craig, I'm glad that they've started this website to help inform people, but you say, even though you follow this stuff 24/7, it's unfolding new stuff every day for you.
Every day I wake up. I woke up this morning and I heard that. It was just like, oh, okay, which was good news, because we got to get the word out. People every day, there was a study done, 40% of the people think that the healthcare reform law is already in place. 20% think it's repealed. So nobody has a clue what's going on. And I think the big thing that I've been telling everybody is education. This is the year of educating. Everybody out there explain how the plans work, what's the latest, what's going on. Because, you know, in the last week, we've heard about, well, if you're a group more than 50, you don't have to provide health insurance.
Let's stop with that one for just a second. Let's stop on that, because, again, you got to take this in little tiny bites. You know, you have to pass the bill in order to read what's in the bill. Okay, so employers over 50 employees get an extra year.
Correct.
And they don't have to provide it. Well, everybody suspects that those companies were already in the process of either, if they were close to the 50 threshold, they were lowering below 50, or they were changing the definition of the full-time employee and cutting people's hours back and so forth, so they wouldn't have to pay this anyway. So what happens now that they get this extra year?
Well, what's going to happen is, it sounds like a great thing, but the first thing you look at is, and I was thinking about, well, first of all, think of all the time and money companies have spent getting ready for this, and now it's like, oh, by the way, we're going to put it off a year. And secondarily, you got companies that are going, okay, so we're not going to be penalized if we don't provide health insurance in 2014. We will be penalized in 2015. But the penalties that the government expected to get was $4 billion.
And here's what is just insidious about this in many people's minds is the government is just planning on billions of dollars in penalties. Well, if that's the case, then if the goal is to insure people, is the goal to insure people, or is the goal to collect penalties so you have more money, more revenue for Washington to spend?
Well, they collected the money because that's how they're paying for health care reform. So the Congress.
But no, people aren't being insured if people are paying the penalties.
And people are going to pay the penalties.
So they just take that money and turn around and give it to people to buy health care insurance?
I mean, think of the penalties. You don't get health insurance, it's a $95 fine or 1% of income. There isn't a big incentive for you to go get health insurance. I think you're starting to see more and more people. We've noticed in our practice, and most agents I talk to, that people without health insurance or businesses without health insurance are now looking at it. That's a good thing. The more people we get insured, the better it is for everybody out there. But again, I've always said they've never done it right. And I think, you know, one of the nice things about the delay is it gives businesses more time to do all this. I mean, I know a business out there where the owner makes maybe $100,000, $200,000 a year, but he has 150 employees. And if he has to provide health insurance for them or pay the $2,000 a year penalty.
And it's not $2,000 a year, it's per employee. Per employee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 150 employees times $2,000, there's all his income for the year. How does he run a business? So I think there's some concerns we have. One of the nice things is, and I'm recommending to my clients, is if you're a business, let your employees go in the exchange, get the subsidies. Let's see how it all folds out and how many people actually qualify for it and how many people don't. However, the problem with that is the government took away the requirements that you got to prove financially that you qualify for subsidies or that your company doesn't offer health insurance.
So you can just go ask for it now and supposedly, according to, just get it.
And get it. I mean, you can go and say, hey, you know, I got a family and we don't get anything for my job, and I make $25,000 a year, and I want the subsidy. Supposedly, we're going to be checking it, but there's just so much. There's a moving target, and everything's changing every day. And next week might be something different that we're talking about.
And you'll be here to talk to us about it.
I will be more than happy to.